somewhere. Tim, where are you? There he is. All right, that's the man that you need to thank for many, many things, including helping me understand why the laser did not work. Remember yesterday? So, I mean, the smartest thing I ever did was to marry this man. He keeps me on my toes, and he's much smarter than I am. So, which is a good thing. So he said that I have to. It's LEDs. This is why the screen is so beautiful when we look at it, and it's 21st century technology. And the problem was that I was using a red laser printer, so it was like a black hole when we use it into the LED technology. But Dr. Litt, another one of the speakers on board, who's been giving some fabulous presentations, he stopped. Well, actually, his darling wife did. And so they stopped me when I came in. They lent me their laser, which is going to work. Can you see that little green light? Is that not wonderful? So I want you all to thank Dr. Yay! Shout out for Dr. and Mrs. Litt. You all you're just wonderful today. Thank you so very much. All right, so let's talk about this lost city. All of you, or most of you are going to see it tomorrow, but few have been there before. We have been there, and it is just mind-boggling. And there we go. So this, of course, is the ancient, this is the iconic photo of Petra. I'll try to, am I in your way, sir? Can you see around me? All right, okay, I'll keep moving. But anyhow, what is so wonderful and what is so special about Petra is that it is not built from rocks. It's built into rocks. And that is what distinguishes and makes it so very special. Now, the thing about Petra is not many people knew about Petra, and it certainly wasn't a tourist site until, oops, I'm one slide ahead of myself, until this. The honest truth. I am not kidding. I wish I wanted to, bless you. I wanted to play a bit of the clip of Indiana Jones when they're standing in front of the treasury. Who's seen Indiana Jones? Yeah. Okay, so then you're all, you don't need to see Petra. You've seen it all, right? No, I'm just kidding. But this is what made it a very popular tourist destination. And as I hear, we're now like 1 million people are going there. So, but this is just 1989, but we're talking about thousands of years ago that Petra thrived. The Neolithic villages have been found there from 7,000 BC. And then what's interesting to me is that with the Edomites, the capital was Sila, or Sela, and it's mentioned in the Bible, and it means rock. So I thought that's very interesting that way back in the Bible we're even talking about that. So the Nabateans, who are the ones who built Petra, they settled it there around 6th century BC. I mean, I just throw these dates out like they're, yesterday or the day before yesterday. They created their own script, they built dams and water channels, and I'm going to talk about that because their ability to build water channels and dams and save water is what made them so prosperous and strong and the leaders in the region. Now, for those of you, the few of you who raised your hands, and you've been to Petra before, was anyone there in the 1980s or the 1970s? One, yay, way back there. Were you, anybody else? But of course, Dr. Litz and his wife. So do you remember when the Bedouin were living there? Yeah, and you saw all the smoke and the walls and all of that? I mean, it's quite extraordinary. So were you in the 80s or the 70s? The problem is I don't have a mic. Can somebody halfway down tell me what you just said? 84. Thank you all. This is just, audience participation. This is what we need. Keeps you on your toes. Keeps me on my toes. And Dr. Litt, when were you there? So he was there in 1980, and probably again when they were doing the filming of Yes, Indiana Jones, exactly. Thank you. Oh, I need your help this morning. Thank you. I haven't even had a cup of coffee this morning. One of those days. So yes, so this is what, when I was there as well, this is what it looked like. I mean, it's very rudimentary. I mean, they truly were and are Bedouins. So 2,000 years ago, they got this idea that they wanted to not make things from rocks, but carve into the rocks. And as my darling husband Timothy wanted me to make sure I pointed out to you from the very beginning, is that it's striations or striations. That's what makes the rocks of Petra so famous, and that gives it the beautiful colors, which, you know, Petra is the rose-colored stones, but you'll find it has more than rose, and it really is a uniquely special place to be. So, unfortunately, it was all destroyed in an earthquake. But 1812, you had a Swiss explorer who rediscovered it for the Westerners. Of course, the Arabs knew that it was there all the time. And it's very interesting that it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. And, as I'll talk about a bit later, it's become one of the new 7 wonders of the world. But let me just talk to you about the situation that the Jordanian government had to deal with after this film was published, or was made, and all these tourists are starting to come in. It was really disruptive for the Bedou that were living there. So, you know, tribes, I think you understand it's a very important framework, and to maintain peace in your country, you have to maintain good relationships with with the tribes on the ground. So, to their credit, the Jordanian government said, all right, what am I going to do? What are we going to do in order to lure these Bedouins out of their house, out of their stone dwellings where they've been for hundreds of years? What can we possibly do to lure them out, right? So, clever people where they were, they said, we'll move you to this wonderful oasis, which isn't too far away, but more than that, we will grant you the concession rights so that you can deal with all of the tourism. You have sole control for everything that goes on with the cafes, with the souvenirs, and so that's really a good deal. And they said, okay, we'll take it, we'll do it. So that's how they were able to get the Bedouins to move out of Petra. So the Nabatean, I mean, when you, just a shout out, when were you in, what time of the year were you there when you visited Petra? Was it hot? You would remember if it's hot. Yeah. She remembers the dust in the donkeys and the heat. This does not sound like a good way to promote Petra. Oh gosh. But okay, you know, we're in the desert, so of course we're going to have dust. And we're going to talk about, my Timothy said that I need to talk to you about the alternative of maybe walking is to ride a donkey. And he said, what a great story you'd have when you come home if you ride a donkey through Petra. So, because they had this monopoly on this desert trade route, they, and what's interesting, I think, is that they had a winter home, which was in Petra, and then they had their summer home, which was in Midan al-Salah in Saudi Arabia. And Midan al-Salah, the Saudis have suddenly decided that they want to develop tourism as well. I think they've taken a look at Dubai and some of the other neighboring Arab countries around them that are doing quite well, and they decided to open it up. So I have been to Midan al-Salah, and it's very easy to see from the architecture and their work in stone that yes, truly you can see the Nabatean architecture there. So not much is known about the Nabatean people, but in Midan al-Salah they have found names, they've been able to kind of gather their occupations, the gods that they worshipped, and a bit about the people that live there. So Petros, do we have any Greek speakers in the audience? Not that I can see. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. So, Petros, is that the best way to pronounce it in Greek? Petra. See, that's why I needed you to be here and this close as well. All right.